Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode where we 342. It is Monday after the National. What's up? Good morning, Zach. Wow, I'm a little sore, kind of tired. I've got a lot less money than I had last Wednesday morning, but I had a blast at the National in Chicago this past week. I actually did. I've got like thoughts racing through. I'll probably have to do partial recaps the rest of the week just because it was so overwhelming, which we all know if you've been to the National, it is overwhelming. Even if you've been there before, it's just you walk into that convention center hall and it's wow. And I mean, yesterday, I was still digging through. I was looking at tables that I hadn't seen in the prior 4 days. And I say that all the time that, in 2019, there was a corner of tables that I had not even, that I didn't know were even there. And then I spent most of my time on Sunday there. And I spent a lot of time in um, what used to be the Breakers Pavilion, which now they had to expand because of all the vendor tables, the footprint. So I spent some time at tables that I didn't even look at um, Wednesday through Saturday. Zach says, "Did you sign any autographs?" I did not sign any autographs, but I took a lot of pictures, and I met a lot of people. So it was awesome. What's up, Mark? Good morning. And Mark, I found some stuff for you. You probably already have it, but I did find some stuff, so I'll be sending a package your way this week. Um, so I'm gonna get right into it. Uh, Wednesday, my first thought was Wednesday was was crazy. When and I'd never so this was only my second national, but my first national was in 2019, and I didn't arrive until I think Thursday night. I don't even believe I walked the show floor 2 years ago because I did a big trade on Thursday night. Basically, just met outside the convention center and did a 30,000 card trade 2 years ago. So I didn't even walk the floor until Friday morning 2 years ago. So this time I did, basically from open to close. So Wednesday night, it felt like a Saturday, and I heard a lot of people say the same that th- this is this is like a Saturday at the National. Um, but there was a lot of comments, and there was a lot of what I noticed on Twitter when I was, just kind of perusing through the feed was a lot of the negative comments were people that weren't even there and saying, well, it looks like it doesn't look fun. The price, it looks overpriced. Looks like there's too many people. And you had to be there. Whether it looked awesome or it looked like you hated it, you just had to be there. There were times that it was the bargain boxes, and I'll get into my strategy here in a bit, but I'm very happy that I had a strategy planned out and that I pretty much went by that strategy, at least for the first day and a half, because it got very crowded. The bargain boxes, you couldn't get a space at the popular bargain boxes. So I'm glad I followed my strategy and I was able to get some good buys on Wednesday night and on Thursday. So it wasn't as overcrowded as I thought it would be. Yes, there were tables that were crowded, and like I mentioned, the bargain boxes, they were crowded. But as far as getting through the aisles and walking around, it really wasn't too bad. You would hit pockets, and especially once you went into like the central area where all of the corporate sponsors are, Tops, Panini, Leaf, all of that. That was very crowded. That central area was very crowded. But once you got into the aisles with vendors, it was not as crowded as I expected. Yes, there was a lot of people there, but it wasn't as wild and crazy as I would have thought it would be. They expanded the footprint in I think 50,000 square feet. And I noticed that because 2 years ago on the entrance side of the convention center, there was a big area with tables and chairs, and you could sit down and sort through cards or open packs. Not there because they had everything, pushed from wall to wall, end to end. There were vendor tables. And then where the Breakers Pavilion was 2 years ago, that was all vendor tables. In the Breakers Pavilion was moved out. I think some of the like PSA was in a separate area where in the past it's been basically part of the show floor. So you could definitely tell that the footprint was expanded and it was a much larger area than what it has been in the past in Chicago. I didn't take my own advice on tips for the National, and the first night or the second night, my buddy Dave and I shared a hotel room together, and he's like, I brought some snacks, and I'm like, oh, nice. And he goes, you didn't bring any snacks? And I said, no. And he goes, I read your blog article on tips for the National, and you mentioned bring snacks. And I thought, and Dave's been he's been to at least 12, maybe 15 nationals. And he goes, I thought that was a great idea. So I brought snacks. I didn't follow my own advice. I was going to bring like a case of water bottles. I didn't do that. I stopped at the gas station every morning. So I did bring water. I made sure because there was times that I lost track of time. I'd look at my phone and it's 3 o'clock already. It's like, wow, I haven't ate breakfast. I haven't ate lunch. I need to drink water. So it's like Vegas. You lose track of time. It's something else. So I didn't take my own advice on some of those. My strategy going in was to hit the bargain boxes early because they're going to get picked over. I'm so glad I did because not only did they get overcrowded, but all the good stuff was pulled. So my first stop, head down straight back to the Singles Club dollar boxes, and that's what I did. So when I arrived on Wednesday, I got there about 10:30, 11 on Wednesday morning. The show floor for VIPs didn't open until 3:30. So my buddy Dave was already there. He was in the VIP lounge. There were 3 free autograph signings for VIPs in the lounge. Cecil Fielder, Wally Joyner, and Jan Stenrud. So Dave was in the Cecil Fielder line. So I'm just like, well, nothing's open, so I might as well just hang out here and get a Cecil Fielder autograph. And met some awesome dudes. We sat there for 3 hours before the signing. And Jeff from Portland, Oregon, who I actually ran into a couple times throughout the weekend, and we actually bumped into each other on our way out Sunday afternoon. And then Brian was from Fairfield, California. He was sitting with us, and actually no, his name wasn't Brian. I can't remember his name, but Brian was from Mount Prospect, just up the road. Pristine Auctions. Pristine Auctions were in the VIP lounge. They were the sponsors, and they started giving out mystery autos in like sealed envelopes. So they just handed them out. And so as they were handing them out, one of the guys from Pristine said, "There's a Mickey Mantle in somewhere in this room in one of these mystery envelopes." So somebody got a Ned Yost. Somebody got like a Greg Louganis. I pulled Dale Jarrett and I gave it to my buddy Val Mars, NASCAR Radio, because I don't care about NASCAR. I didn't want it. I know that he would appreciate it, give it a good home. So I gave it to Val. And all of a sudden I hear some hubbub. The guy standing next to me that I had talked to just 5 minutes ago pulled the Mickey Mantle autograph. PSA, JSA certified. Mickey Mantle signed 8x10. Very cool. I ended up buying, they were selling baseballs. They were selling 8x10 photos for the 3 signers. So I went and bought an 8x10 of Cecil Fielder, got his autograph. Then they had food. So I had some water, some pizza, and then it was 3:30. So we went down to the show. What's up, Herman? Good morning. Thank you. So my plan was singles club, head down, sort through dollar cards. So I only ran into one person on the way there. That was actually I ran into two people. Um, that was my fear, was that I was going to get stopped because I'm wearing the cardometer sign, so I'll get stopped. Blake Jameson was actually walking in from the VIP lounge to the show floor, so we took a quick selfie, and then I ran into Eric Norton from Beckett, so we chatted for a minute, and then I hit the dollar boxes, and I was there for about 3 hours. I bought about 200 dollar cards. Got some great deals. I showed them off. They're in my Twitter feed. So a lot of Cubs, some trade bait, and some that will be going on eBay. Mark says triple folders in the dollar boxes. No, the Hassans were not in the dollar boxes, unfortunately. They were under a showcase. So that was Wednesday. I spent a few hours. There was still some time left over at the show, so I walked the floor, which I didn't have in my itinerary, my in my head itinerary, but I did kind of get a somewhat of a feel, because you can't really walk the whole floor in an hour. But I saw some other various tables that I wanted to check out. So Thursday morning, I was beat. I was not prepared for standing all day, walking around. I stayed up late. I had some beers and stayed up late. So I was very tired Thursday morning, powered through, hit the Jennings booth. And I'm glad I did when I did, because all of a sudden Thursday was wild. Thursday might've been more busy. I think Thursday and Friday were busier than Saturday. I think Thursday might have been the busiest day, actually. So I dug through the Jennings boxes, and I bought a bunch of, they were 50-cent boxes. So bought a bunch of cards. That's the card shop in Freeport, Illinois, that I go down and sort through. Picked up a bunch of stuff at the Wisconsin Dell show in May. They'll do the other Chicago shows, the Spectacular. So they're one of my favorite vendors there. So dug through and found a bunch of stuff there. Spent a couple hours there, and then I was able to walk the floor on Thursday afternoon. So basically I had everything as far as bargain boxes finished Wednesday night, Thursday morning, which gave me a little more time to walk the room, check out vintage, because then I was on a mission to find the 1887 Allen and Ginter Cap Anson. I found one. It was higher grade than what I'm looking for, because it's out of my price range. It was a 4. It had a pretty hefty price tag on it. Was not interested. There was also another Cap Anson that I think has a little better eye appeal. It's got the black border. It's an 1895 Mayo cut plug. One was graded, and I think it might have been a 2.5, but it was like 2,800. There was a raw copy that was in worse shape, and that guy was asking 3,500. There were some asking prices on various tables that were more than what they should be, and that's why they sat and didn't sell all weekend. So I did find the one. That was the only one I found, and I found it like Thursday. So I went back and I found another vintage table, which I would later on, actually Saturday afternoon, make a buy of my first Three Fingers Brown. It's a T206. I'll show it off here in a bit. And then those Hassan triple folds. So that was Thursday. That was the rest of the day. Thursday, I had an invitation. Ross from Golden Auctions, he's the CEO of Golden, reached out to me about a month ago with an invite to a one-of-one dinner with Golden Auctions, with Ken Golden and Golden Auctions. So that was at Capitol Grill. Amazing food. Now I had gone. So my friend Scott Nelson, former director of baseball operations for the Cubs, he was assistant scouting director. He worked in the Cubs organization for about 30 years. We met up on Thursday, and we walked the floor a little bit, and then we had lunch at Gibson's. So how about that? Gibson's and Capital Grille. The double whammy, lunch and dinner. I had the burger for lunch, very filling. So I went with salmon at Capital Grille. Nobody knew. Here's the funny thing about the dinner. So I get the invite from Ross. I didn't want to ask too many questions. I didn't want to be the act like you've been here before. Thank and accept the invitation and let it ride. So that was how I handled this. So get the invitation. I go to Capital Grille, and first person I met was Jeremy Lee from Sports Card Live. So I had never met Jeremy in person. So I got to meet Jeremy. What's up, Brad? Good morning. So I chatted with Jeremy for a second. Seating was assigned at the various tables. So I found my name placard. There was about 40 to 50, I would say, people invited to this dinner. So I sat with Brett McGrath. I can't remember. I know Brett and Kyle, they're brothers. Brett has, I think, Cracking Slabs. So I sat with Brett and Kyle. Next to me was Buster. So Buster founded Hoops Nation, and I didn't know anything about him. And so we're talking, and he was talking about his podcast and his Instagram and how he collects historical signatures. So he has a George Washington authenticated autograph. He has a PSA 10 Abraham Lincoln autograph that was signed 3 months prior to his assassination in 1865. He has Thomas Jefferson. He has, good morning, Bob. What's up? Bob, we missed you this week. So we get to talking, and then all of a sudden he says he's friends with Aaron Judge. And I'm like, how? He's only 20 years old. And I'm like, well, how did that relationship develop? And he goes, well, I know Travis Scott, and Aaron Judge is a big Travis Scott fan. So I got them connected. So now Aaron, thinks I'm great because I know Travis Scott. And I'm like, that's freaking amazing. That is so amazing. Damian Rodrigo, he's the world's largest Messi collector. He was sitting across from us. So we had kind of our group of 5. We hung out the whole night. Golden gave us some packs to rip before dinner. I had a pack of Prism basketball, pack of Bowman, and a pack of Select football. Pulled some Cubs. The guys around me gave me their Cubs cards that they pulled from the Bowman packs. So it was an awesome dinner. Delicious food, awesome conversation. Ken Golden spoke. Ken talked about the upcoming show. It's going to be called The Golden Rule. It does have a network home. He could not divulge that information yet, but he was very happy with where it's at. It was one of the networks that he was hoping to land on. Peyton Manning is the executive producer of the show. So I'm really looking forward to The Golden Rule when it comes out. So hopefully that announcement's coming soon on where it lands on which network. What's up, Ryan? Yeah, 1 million. Good morning. Missed you at the National. Hope you had a great time. It was awesome. Bob missed the National. Tommy John is for the birds when you're old like me. So that was Thursday. So Friday was my day where I wanted to spend money. And I know a lot of people say in their tips for the National, if you see a good deal, don't pass it up. And so that happened to me on one thing, actually multiple things at one table. There was a table with a ton of autographed baseballs. And on one side, they were like discount autographed baseballs, $15. And they said show price, $15 on Thursday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday, $10. And there was like a Billy Williams ball. And it's like, I should buy this for $15, even though I might be able to get it for $10 tomorrow. But I just waited like a fool. So I'm like, I'll come back tomorrow, get it for $10, and there were probably 15 Cubs autographed baseballs that I didn't have that I would have bought. I go back Saturday morning. Guess what? The entire 2 tables of the discounted autographed baseballs gone. They were bought out. So snooze, you lose. And I snoozed on the autographed baseballs. So Friday I was shopping around for the vintage. I saw the booth. Um, Glimpse of the Past, I believe, is Syracuse, New York. Scott is the guy's name. So I had my eye on the Hassan triple folders. So I decided I was going to wait until Saturday to get those. That didn't come back and bite me. So that was good. So then Friday night, I met up with my friend from college, Quincy. Him and his wife Mallory came in. They actually just live up Gurnee, Waukegan area. So met up with them, and we went down to Shoeless Joe's just down the street on River Road. Had dinner there, and then was in. And I showed off some stuff that on Twitter that I picked up at an auction. So there was a bunch of stuff that I tweeted out. Must have been Friday night. That stuff was actually bought a few months ago at an auction, an online auction, and so it was in the city where my friend Dave's from. So he actually delivered it to me, brought it up. So like the baseball card magazine, the Dallas cards, the Dallas TV show cards, the Harlem Globetrotters cards, just the various stuff that I tweeted out. That was from that. So I was going through all that. And it's like, oh man, I forgot a box of 1971 Topps. So that was from a few months ago. So that was Friday night. 2 minutes behind, but did you tell them Brooks Klein, Brooks Kieschnick? I did not. So then Saturday. Saturday I did a lot of meetups. I met a lot of people. So I met so many people. I don't want to like point anybody out because I don't want to miss anybody, because there were so many people from Twitter that I got to meet for the first time. Like the whole Hobby Hotline crew, so awesome. Met John Newman. So here I go naming names. Met John. I met Jeremy. I met Val and Logan. Brody the Kid. I actually talked to Brody and his dad for quite a while on Saturday. Who else? Who am I? See, I'm gonna miss somebody. So that was awesome. Mike Summer, who I know well. We hung out in the dollar boxes. So he's like, hey, I'm interviewing Dr. Beckett at 5. Why don't you come on and I'll interview you after Dr. Beckett. And that was for on ComC. So did that interview. How's that? I had to follow Dr. Beckett, the guy collecting Cubs cards. And also, going back to the first night, Wednesday night, I'm standing and it was crowded in the singles club, the singles club dollar boxes. And all of a sudden I look to my left and this guy looks familiar. It's Rich Klein. I said, are you Rich? I am. So Uncle Rich and I we stood right next to each other. We were picking out dollar cards. So that was cool. I actually ran it. We were in there again on Friday. I went back, bought more on Friday. So that was kind of the week. Saturday I did a lot of meetups with people with Cubs cards. It's so hard. It's so hard to meet up with people. You're tweeting like, I'm here, but it's like, okay, if you don't get here in 10 minutes, I'm gonna walk. And 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm on the move. Okay, I'm in the beer line. Okay, I'm at table 710. So it was really difficult, but I think I was able to catch up with most everybody that I had planned on, that we had tweeted back and forth with. So Ryan says, meeting people in real life was the number one thing for me at the National. Buying stuff distant second. So much fun, even if your presence eluded me when I was there Wednesday through Friday. Yeah, it was. That's the thing. Like, even if the prices were up, definitely up. There was definitely the inflated prices on a lot of stuff, but you could still find so many deals. But even so, if you couldn't find those deals, meeting people in real life, like so many people, and somebody commented on Twitter that wasn't at the National, that they were pleasantly surprised that there was no drama at the National. And that's, we're all good. We're mostly all good people. And, there was some thefts. There wasn't as many thefts or like bad stuff go on as I thought there might be, because 1991, that's the National that everybody compares as, you know, it's up here. There was a lot of like there was a lot of theft and there was a lot of bad stuff at the 91 National, and there was hardly any. There was, I think, just the one theft that's kind of gone around, you know, videos and pictures. That's about the only thing. So meeting everybody in real life, like we just get out and having fun. Mark says, yeah, meeting people number one. That's, you know, that's the one thing that I'll take away more so than getting, you know, pulling some of the cards, buying some of the cards that I bought. And going back to the deals, a lot of people say things were overpriced. Yes, there were, but you could find some great deals. You saw some of the dollar cards I pulled, some of the 50-cent cards I pulled. The dime box collector, Nick, he found a Yadier Molina like super short print in a dime box, paid 10 cents for it. Guess what? He flipped it for 150 bucks. So if you spend the time, dig through these boxes, even at the National, you can find some really good deals. Herman says, honestly, that would be my main motivation for going for sure. And so right now, as it stands, I don't have a plan on going to next year's National. It's in Atlantic City. You know, the whole flight for me, Chicago's easy. I can drive. It's 2 hours. It's so easy. But to fly to Atlantic City, and I know you know, a lot of people fly in. I just don't know, especially getting Cubs cards. Like, I just don't know if I can make a flight work. So I may, you know, so flying out to Atlantic City, I don't know if I will go to the National next year. It's still a year away. A lot can change, so we shall see. Sunday, going back, so Saturday I did exactly. I don't have to decide for another 11 months. So Saturday I did make the purchases. Ran into my buddy Justin. He facilitated the final deal, so that was awesome. And then Sunday, guess what? One of the last, the end of the day, Sunday, a booth that I had visited earlier in the week had exactly what I was looking for. 1887 Allen and Ginter Cap Anson in a 1. So the dealer was not at the table. His son was watching the table, and I said, "What's the price on this Cap Anson?" He's like, "I don't know. My dad's not here. Let me call him." So he called his dad. 2,000, which is more than I was willing to pay for a 1. I had an offer. I had received an offer for 12. Somebody countered at 1,200 for a 1 that was very clean, great eye appeal just a few months ago. So I waited. I kind of milled around that area. I saw he was back. I asked him. He said 2,000. I said, "Would you do 1,500?" He said no. You know, 2,000 is where I'm at. He flipped it over and it had a terrible back. And it looked like the one. There was one on eBay, and it might have been, and it was, he got it for about, he said, he told me what he paid for it, and it was about half of what it was listed for or best offer on eBay. So I think that might have been the one I saw on eBay that I didn't even want to put an offer in because the back was so bad. So even though it was there, the front looks great, the back was all messed up, did not want it. And that was way too much. That would have put me over budget. So I left under budget, even though I did find, and now it's time for show and tell. So as I was walking out, I had a consolation prize. I didn't find the Cap Anson and the price, you know, there were 2 there, but one was higher grade and the second was lower grade than I wanted and higher price. Lower grade, higher price. So my consolation prize was this Mecca cigarettes from 1912. So this is Johnny Evers. So I actually got this 20% off list. He had a Sunday special, 10% off. I offered him 20% off, and he took it. So Johnny Evers, just a beautiful looking card. I love these vintage. Frank Chance is on the back. So you've got Evers and Chance. And I bought a Joe Tinker. It's in a box. So I don't have my T205 that I picked up a T205 Joe Tinker, I think, on Friday. So that's somewhere. Um, then I picked up this 54 Red Heart. It's in very nice condition. D Fondi. I have the Hank Sauer. Um, and I think I still need the Ralph Kiner. So D Fondi, Red Heart 54. Those are awesome cards. So I will be submitting some of these raw. I don't know if I'm going to submit that Evers to SGC, but I have a big submission I'm going to submit to SGC. I picked this up from, the Red Heart came from Kit Young Cards, which is, well known. I picked up this Heads Up Frank Damari. So I think there's only one other Cub in this set, and it's a hard one. I saw it there, but it's expensive. I'd rather put that money toward the earlier, the turn of the century cards. So then the big buy, the big deal, Saturday, glimpse of the past. This was a T206 graded 3, so nice grade on this. Jake Feaster. This was kind of a throw-in because I wanted to get a deal. I was trying to get a bulk discount going if I was trying to stack cards, high-end stack sale. So I had, asked for, what's your deal on this, and this? Threw out a number. I threw out a number. We were squabbling over like $10. I said, what can you do? X amount if I throw in this. And after some debating, we finally met on a number that we were, both happy with. So the Hassan triple folders, that's what I was after. So this is Harry McIntyre and Jimmy Archer. And I think, is that Frank Chance in the middle? Yeah, Frank Chance beats out a hit. So this is my first, and I bought 2 of these, my first Hassan triple folders. Just awesome. And these are hard to find. And he did have great prices on his stuff. These are hard to find on eBay. There are some raw, and they're, pretty expensive. So this was the big one I liked. Johnny Evers is in the middle on the slide, and then Evers and Chance. So and I did buy a Joe Tinker T205. So I got the Tinkers to Evers to Chance, double play combination, all original, and my first Three Fingers Brown original T206. Just a beautiful card. Very happy. This was kind of secondary because I was after the Hassans, but then I saw this and it was at a price point that I could swallow. So I had to pull the trigger because some of this stuff, it's just going to keep going up in price. So that was most of my recap from the National. Show more. So I think that's probably Steph. So on the About the Cards channel. So I do have more. I have the T205 Joe Tinker I'll show off. And then some of the other stuff that I bought. There might have been there was some more video. David Polikoff from Twitter. I bought a bunch of stuff from him as well, stuff that I didn't have. So I'll show off some more stuff tomorrow. I still I got in and I didn't want to spend all night in the basement. I don't think my wife would have appreciated being away for 5 days and then hanging out in the basement all night. No Evers or Chance. Yes. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe you missed, but so this is Evers and Chance, Hassan, triple fold. And then I also picked up this Johnny Evers Mecca. And then I picked up the Joe Tinker T205. So so I'll show off some more stuff tomorrow. Anything else that comes to mind. It's so hard to recap 5 days in a half an hour, and I'm already going over. So I have to get back to work because I have 1,000 emails to get through at the office. Thanks for tuning in. National was awesome. I will share more stories tomorrow morning, 6:45 a.m. Central. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow.